Hello. I want to show you an idea for Valentine's Day that got a little bit of interest to it to keep your customers engaged. We're going to put something inside a crystal Clearz balloon and dress it up, because that always adds a lot of extra value and a lot of extra interest to it. We're going to be using 5-inch Sempertex Reflex Gold and Reflex Crystal Red, a mini 9-inch Valentine's foil, Happy Valentine's Day foil, a standard 18-inch crystal Clearz, and then we're going to dress it with rose petals, ribbons, red roses, and so forth. We'll start off by creating the base, because we need that to sort of stand everything on, and it's very, very simple to do. I'll start with a cluster of 4 Reflex Crystal Red, and I'm going to inflate them quite large and then downsize them to 5 inches so that they're nice and big but also nice and round. So we need 4 of those. Good squash to give them the round shape. Tie into a duplicate and repeat. Okay. And then twist those together to make a cluster of 4. I'm going to need to add some weight to this to give the whole thing a bit of stability. I like to use small heavy objects inside a 5-inch latex. So I've got a 5-inch Reflex Gold here, and I've put a selection of glass marbles into it, which gives it the weight required, and it's very easily adjustable. But you can use sand, or you can use pebbles, or you can use water, anything you like, but it does need to be small and discreet so that it disappears into the cluster there. Wrap it around a couple of times, tie it off, make sure that it's nice and secure, and then it will sit nice and tight on the table. I'm then going to inflate another 4 balloons, gold ones this time, Reflex Gold, and I'm going to take those to 3.5 inches. Oh, excuse me. Do that one again. 3.5 inches, just to give it a nice difference between the 2 sizes. So make them nice and round. And repeat that. Okay. And then again twist it to a cluster 4. Take one of the necks, wrap it through this cluster, round a couple of times, tie it off, and that gives us the base for everything else to sit on. We'll just set that to one side for the moment. Right. So we're now going to start on the main body of the design. We're taking a crystal Clearz balloon, and I want to remove the valve. So we're going to put some air in. Take the label off, because that always seems to get in the way when you're trying to seal the balloon after you've taken the valve out. Cut it, pinch the seams together and cut it across. There is another video on the Decorator Hub that will show that in more detail if you're a little unsure. Cut it across, squeeze, out comes the valve. Now we're going to put inside this an inflated mini balloon, but we want the mini balloon to be suspended, hanging in the middle of the Clearz. So it's not going to be possible to roll this and put it through the neck and then inflate it afterwards, because we need to get all of our attachment points in place first. So we're going to take it in through the other end by cutting the balloon and resealing. A little bit of stretchy balloon tape and some very fine monofilament. This is an 8-pound breaking strain monofilament, and I'm just going to tape that to the very top of the mini balloon before I inflate it, because that means I can give a nice bit of pressure on there to make sure it's properly stuck down, because you don't want the mini balloon to come detached from the monofilament after you've put all the effort of getting it inside. So do it first, tie it a couple of times just to added security, and cut off the tail that you don't need, and then give yourself a length of monofilament to play with. Okay, so we're going to take the top off the balloon. So there's your tail at the bottom. We're going to just cut it across there. It doesn't need to be too big, because we are actually going to inflate the balloon once it's inside the Clearz, but not in through the neck. So, you know, a smallish opening will be enough to give us the space that we need to inflate the balloon, but it also makes it easier to seal. Okay, we're going to put the monofilament in through the opening we've just created and out through the valve, or not the valve, the neck of the balloon, like so. And then we can tuck the mini balloon inside. Well, we can try and tuck the mini balloon inside. There it goes. Like so. Leave the neck of it sticking out through the bottom of your Clearz. Now we can inflate that with a hand pump. Like so. Hold it here. A lot of people do have difficulty in sealing the mini balloons and getting leakage afterwards. So a really simple tip is to always pinch it at the base of the balloon so that there's no air in the tail at all. If you hold it there, the tail is inflated, and when you seal that, you'll tend to get crinkles and wrinkles in there which the air can escape through. If you hold it there and make sure that the tail is completely empty of air, then it will be much better. Then when you put it in your sealer, instead of just pressing down and waiting, which is okay and it works, it's fine, but it puts a very narrow seal across the neck. If you push it down and then pull the neck towards you, slide it through the sealer, immediately you've pushed down, it will create a much wider seal and will also help to iron out any wrinkles that you might have got. So put it in there, press down and immediately pull towards you, like so, and you can see that there's a seal there that's a good ½ centimetre wide. If you check that before you let go, if there are any creases crossing that seal line, do it again. If not, you're good to go, it's all fine. I'm going to remove the part of the neck below the seal that we've just put in, so that I've got less to get rid of. And now I can decorate the base of this because it's sticking out through the Clearz quite nicely. So I'm just going to tie a couple of little bows around it to give it some detail. Little bows of satin ribbon, any ribbon that suits and matches the occasion will be fine. Tie that on there, and we'll do one on the opposite side as well, just to tidy up the base of the balloon and give it some interest. Okay, so that is going to hang inside the Clearz balloon when it's all inflated. But we need something else at the base, because once this is inflated it's going to be reasonably large, and that little foil on its own isn't really going to fill the space very well. So just to give it a little bit of extra detail, I'm going to throw a handful of silk rose petals in, like so, and also a little spray of red roses to sit at the bottom. So there's just 3 silk red roses that I've taped together, curved into a nice shape, added a bow. I've wrapped the stem with ribbons as well, just to give it that little bit of extra style, and that will go in through the opening as well. Do take care when you're stuffing things into the Clearz that you don't put the cut under stress. If you stretch it, it will be much more difficult to seal afterwards, and you do run the risk of splitting the seam. So don't stretch it open too hard, just carefully put everything inside. Before you seal it up, just double check that your monofilament is still out through the neck of the balloon, because once you've sealed it, there's no way of sorting that out. And then we're going to put the balloon into the heat sealer to create one straight seal all the way across in one line. So take your time, line it up carefully, make sure that everything's in position and there's no wrinkles, and then press and hold for a second to let the balloon cool, and then double check. So take a look at your seal, it goes all the way across from side to side, there's no missed bits, no wrinkles, no creases. Okay, should be fine. We'll find out shortly. Now we can inflate the balloon. I'm just getting a bit of modelling balloon ready to tie it off, but let's put the air inflator into the neck of the Clearz and then inflate it to the size we want. I would say that's about right. The roses are the wrong way up, so I'll try and, that's better. Give them a bit of a shake. And at this point you can adjust the height of your mini balloon by just pulling on the monofilament to get it where you want it, and I think that actually works quite well. So once you're happy with it, twist the balloon around a couple of times and then use your scrap of modelling balloon, go around several times, tie it off, and then just to be absolutely sure, I like to bend the neck of the Clearz over and tie it again to keep make sure that the seal is 100%. There we go. And then I can remove the mono that we don't want. Oops. There. Okay, so there's our design that is going to sit on the base. We need to be able to attach it to the base. So for that, again, I'm going to use another scrap of modelling balloon and some stretchy balloon tape. I'm cutting it a bit about 5 centimetres long. I'm cutting it in half, And I'm going to use half of it across the modelling balloon and stick that to the base of the Clearz. Stick it down really well. And then the other half I'm going to cut in half again and use those to form an H pattern. So these little pieces will go at 90 degrees across the longer bit, close to the modelling balloon, just to give added security and make sure it stays absolutely rock solid attached. Like so. We've got a nice strong attachment point there that we can then use to, oops, oh dear, excuse me, we'll replace that. That was a 5-inch one in there. Put it down a bit to give it a bit of extra softness. Okay, tie that through. Easily fixed. Right, we'll now tie this through the cluster here. So it sits nice and firm. Okay, just need to dress it up a little bit now. So I'm going to make a little cluster of balloons to go on the top. I'm going to use the twist it in half method. So we use a red one, set it down small, tie it loosely so it's nice and squashy, squeeze it in half and use the neck to tie. Well, try to have another go at that. That's better. Couldn't get that through. There we go. And same with the gold one. Let it down small. Push the knot down, twist in half. Twist those into a cluster. And attach them using this piece of modelling balloon that is there from sealing the Clearz. Got another balloon, another rose here, single one, bow already attached. Wrap the stem with ribbon and that is going to go through the centre of here to just sit on the top of the balloon like that. Okay. Down at the base here, I'm just going to tuck in a few leaves. These would be better obviously if you are doing this for a customer, which I assume you are, then it would be better to make sure these are glued or tied in place so that they're secure. But I'm just tucking them in for now, so that you get the effect. And we'll add one more bow. And that is essentially it. However, Valentine's Day is a day where you want to pass on your feelings to people with lots of various messages. So this balloon, this design is ideal for personalisation. And Clearz, when air-filled, can be vinyled to great effect, because once properly sealed, an air-filled Clearz like this will last literally for years. We have had them in the showroom and on display for years, and they just don't go down at all. They don't oxidize, they don't change in any way. So they're perfect for personalization. So if I just add a simple vinyl message to this, we'll just put it across the lower half there. Peel it off. And there you have it. Relatively simple, very romantic and beautiful air-filled design for Valentine's Day.